Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. From wherever you're watching this session today, you're most welcome. Today is a very, very exciting day for me because today we are going to talk about decision making. And today is one of the days when I decided to make a very, very firm decision about how I'm going to show up more and better for my clients. There is a thought that I've been having for a while about how I can serve the people that are working with me better. But, I kept dilly-dallying. I kept wondering, that should I do it? Should I not? Should I do it? Should I not? And guess what? I just remembered that all I need to do is make a decision. Now, how many of you are stuck, in that kind of thinking? Should I do this? Should I not? Well, what I'd like you to know is that you just have to decide and just do it. It's that simple. When you do it, you get amazing results. And this is what I'm going to talk to you about today, because guess what? Decision making is supposed to be a very, very effortless process. It's supposed to be very easy, but all of us are always in confusion. We keep wondering, we keep using our logic. We keep looking at data and facts in order to make a decision. What I'd like you to know is that decision making should be based on what it is that you want. It shouldn't be based on what's happening around you, all right? And I'm going to go a bit deeper into that. And I'm going to share my story on how I overcame my circumstances. I made a decision and I actually achieved what it is that I wanted. Because, sometimes, especially, people who are very data driven, very analytical, when you talk about them having to make a decision, without giving too much of a thought, just using your intuition, it doesn't really make a lot of sense, right? So whoever is hearing this, whoever is watching this today, if it sounds like it doesn't make too much sense to you, just keep listening on, and I'm going to show you how to make decisions, all right? So as I mentioned, decision making is supposed to be a very effortless process, right? But, we always come across so many obstacles, because the first thing that you need to know what it is that you really want before you make a decision, right? So that's always a prerequisite. So today we'll talk about the obstacles that you face to what it is that you really want. I'm going to help you identify what these obstacles are. And then I'll give you very practical action steps towards your goal. But remember, before you know what your goal is, before you start working towards your goal, you definitely have to be a decision maker. Let me tell you something, decision making is something that's pertinent in all areas of your life, be it a small area, be it a major area, Like, let me just give you another example. In addition to me making a decision about how I'm going to show up better for my clients today. So there's a course that I currently have called The Creator, and I decided to make a lot of additions to it because I felt like I needed to provide more value to my clients. So instead of thinking about it too much, I just made a decision and I just did it. So as we speak, I have just completed that process and I made a decision that I'm going to do it before I talk about decision making in this session, because I would love to implement, I would love to do what it is that I am teaching here, right? So it's always a good idea to be an action taker. Don't wait, just make that decision and do whatever it is that you want to do. Another example I'd want to share with you is, when last night, like I always plan my day ahead, right? I mean, I'm sure all of you do that. So, I was on the fence about whether I should do my cardio exercise as part of my morning routine today or not. And you know what? I just say to myself, it's so simple. All I need to do is make a decision. It's that simple. So what did I do? I just made a decision. I said, I'll just wake up 10 minutes early and I'll just do it anyway. I mean, it's that simple. We tend to complicate our lives by not making a decision. And today I'm going to have one of my clients called Linda, who I used to be in school with. And she is going to talk about how she has learned out of decision making and how it's making a difference for her. Because when I got on a coaching call with her about 2 weeks ago, she clearly mentioned to me that life can be so simple when we learn how to make decisions. It's just that we don't just make decisions. But what I'd like you to know that it's not your fault if you're not able to make decisions. Your parents didn't let you make your decisions. School didn't teach you how to make decisions. A lot of you, in the workplace, in the business world, can't make decisions because you're used to other people making decisions for you. But congratulations for those who are decision makers. because that's an amazing step already in order to achieve your success, in order to achieve your goal. All right. But what happens, why is it that it's so difficult to make decisions? So there's always something, a decision is about what you've never done before. Most of the time, you'll not really ponder and think too much about something you've already done before. You'll just decide and do it anyway. But decision making is very crucial when you want to do something you've never done before, something that's way out of your reach. It seems out of your reach. It's not really out of your reach. It just seems out of your reach, right? Now, what's the first thing that happens when you want to go into an unfamiliar territory, right? The big F word kicks in. Are we all familiar with the F word? It's the word fear. You unknowingly have a tendency to succumb to your fear, right? It's like you'd rather hold back and succumb to your fear rather than face that fear and go for what you really want. The comfort zone is such a beautiful place, right? It's always the easier option. You don't want to feel that discomfort. Human beings don't like to feel anything, right? So when you feel any sort of discomfort, when you feel that there's even a hint of uncertainty, even for a second, you just want to hold back. Let me just give you another example around that. So yesterday I was speaking to somebody, and they really need my help. I know that for a fact. But towards the end, I could tell that their fear had kicked in, when it was time to make a decision. Making a decision entails knowing that whatever it is that you want is already done, accepting that idea. So when you have to make a decision to take a different step in your life, to do what it is that you've never done in order to get to where it is that you've never been before, you have to take a different step, do something different. Now, when it comes to doing this different thing, that is when the fear kicks in. So what did this person do? They succumbed to that fear, and I could tell. And that's when I told them that, hey, you need to just make a decision. Because what happens, you don't make a decision and you start procrastinating. You never do whatever it is that you want to do. And fear will kick in, right? So that's exactly what happens. When you just decide and do it, you don't give fear a chance to kick in. So be very wary of this big F word. It's a very, very influential word in our life, It does not let us lose. So if you don't know how to deal with it, all you need to do is make a decision, right? So you keep hearing this voice in your head that justifies why you should not do what you want, right? Now, decision-making entails ignoring this voice and just saying that I have accepted the idea that whatever it is that I want is already done and just go for it. Decision-making has been very overrated. But it's actually a very effortless process. And I learned this from my mentor, Bob Proctor. When I first heard about the concept, I had no idea what he was talking about until I used it myself. So the challenge is that you're making decisions based on your logic. Your logic means that you're making decisions based on your current circumstances. So what happens? Your current circumstances are dictating your current results. When you make a decision based on your current circumstances, you'll obviously keep getting the same results. And this is what you don't understand. So you keep looping in a repetitive cycle and you keep wondering why things are not changing for you, right? You want to go here, but your thoughts are down here because of your current circumstances. So your decisions are based on your current circumstances and your goal is here. So what you need to do is close that gap. You need to make a decision based on where you want to go, not where you are. So this is where the mistake is, all right? So I just want to share my example here on how I overcame my circumstances by just making one decision, how I achieved my goal. And if I can do it, you can do the same. So, about 2 years ago, I came across my mentor, Bob Proctor. And since the year 2014, I had wanted to be in a field where I could help people live a better life. But I had no idea how I was going to do it and what I was going to be. Now, I did not want to become like the other coaches in the market. I felt like there were too many coaches in the market. Not that they're not good. They're doing a wonderful job. They're really, really transforming people's lives. But I wanted to be a level ahead and do something different, something that would drive very, very permanent changes and lasting results for people. That is exactly what I was looking for. But at that time, I didn't know what I was going to do. So coincidentally, in July of 2021, I came across my mentor, Bob Proctor, online on Facebook, and I decided to join his free online classes. And, on the fourth day, so he would have 5-day classes. On the fourth day, he always talked about decision making. When he talked about decision making, and he said, decision making means deciding based on what you want, not what you can see around you, not based on your current circumstances. And that really hit me home. And that's the same way he announced that you could become a person who could work for him and teach his knowledge that he was teaching globally in your part of the world. You could help other people because he wanted to expand his network. And I made an immediate decision. And that was the first time I ever made a decision in my life. Because how was I making decisions previously? By asking the people around me, by seeking validation, by wondering what people would think about me. Those are always the first things that come to your mind. You ask your spouse, your family members, your friends, your colleagues. But guess what? They don't know what you need. They have no idea. So your decisions have to be made by you. So what did I do on that day? I just sat and said, I have made this decision. I am a Procter Gallagher consultant. And guess what? I didn't get lost in the how. Now, most of you cannot make decisions because you get lost in the how. This is a very effortless process. If you understand the intricacies of this, you can do whatever you want in your life. Now, you may think this sounds absurd, but this is absolutely the truth. So the practice that I wanted to pursue under Bob Proctor's institution cost thousands of dollars, and I had no idea how I was going to do it. Because in my career in the past years, I had a lot of ups and downs. So I was not in the financial position to be able to fund that practice myself. But guess what? I just made a decision, meaning I simply accepted the idea that I am a Procter Gallagher consultant no matter what, because I knew from my spirit that this is what I wanted to do. So when you know from your intuition, from your spirit, that something that you want is what you really, really, really want, make a decision, accept the idea, and things will start working out for you. People, circumstances, and resources will work out in a way that your goal will have no option but to be realized, all right? So it was all an effortless process. All I had to do was make a decision. And guess what? Around, 6 to 8 months after that, I was awarded this particular practice all for free. So I was able to make a decision despite my current circumstances, despite not having the money, and still be able to get it. So I never went into the how. I had full faith and belief that it was already done. So you have the power within you to make a decision in a jiffy and go for what it is that you want. Don't get stuck into the how, into your current circumstances, because these are the things that hold you back. They don't allow you to grow. What you need to do is think from your goal. Don't look at what's happening around you. You need to shift your thoughts to the level of your goals, wants, and desires. So you see, as I said, right now you are here. When you want to be up here, you can't think from your current circumstances because this is where you keep staying. You need to elevate your vibrations, elevate your thoughts in order to achieve your goals. So when you elevate your thoughts, you start thinking from your goal. That means you've already made a decision. You already are acting as if your goal has been accomplished, all right? And this is exactly how the law works. So what I'd like to clarify is that you don't have to be in the mode of longing, wanting, or wishing. The universe responds to the exact vibration that you are in. This means that if you are in the longing, wishing, and desiring state, this is exactly what the law responds to, the universe responds to. And it always brings you more and more situations where you'll always be longing, wanting, and wishing rather than having it. So what you need to do is act as if your desire, your goal has already been accomplished. This is very, very important. Be in the state that you already have what it is that you desire. So let me give you an example. When I wanted to become a Procter Gallagher consultant, and I made a decision in less than 30 seconds that I am a Procter Gallagher consultant. I didn't have the money. I didn't ask anybody. I just knew it, that I am a Procter Gallagher consultant, no matter what. So what would I do on a daily basis? On a daily basis, I was acting as if my goal had already been accomplished. Whatever anybody does, however somebody speaks to me, I would speak back at them as if I was already a Procter Gallagher consultant. In my mind, I was already that person. I was doing everything from that particular point. So that's exactly what you need to do. If you want to earn $1 million per month, you just need to start acting as if you already earn $1 million per month. when you speak to people, when you go out there, what places do you go to? Act as if you already earn $1 million per month, all right? So at this point, you have no idea about the how. All you know is that it is done. With consistency in this practice and belief, you will get in the right vibration and the universe will automatically start responding to your vibes. And people, circumstances, resources will start shaping themselves to respond to your wants. So think of this as your workshop, Your life is yours. It's once in a lifetime that you have an opportunity to achieve your desires. Why waste it? Use your imagination. Your imagination serves as a workshop for you to build the life that you want. And all you need to do is make that one decision. When you make that one decision, you will be able to start acting as if it has already happened. And you are here and you want to be here. When you make that decision and you elevate your thoughts, the vibration of your entire body changes and everything starts shaping itself in order to support your goals. And that's exactly what happened to me. It was not a coincidence that I was awarded. I did the work behind it. I didn't sit and wait for it, right? So that's exactly what happened. When I started working towards, my goal, I was here in life and I started working on myself towards my goal. I made a decision. I did the daily practice. I took action. You have to work on your mindset. Your mindset has to be aligned with your goal because most of you, this is how you're working. Your goal is here. Your mindset is down here. Until you don't shift your mindset to the level of your goals, you'll never be able to achieve it. And that is the truth. So what did I do? As soon as I made a decision, I invested in myself and I started working on myself on a daily basis without fail, committedly and persistently. Commitment and persistence are key to your success. It's not just about taking action on a physical basis. So for those who watched my session last week, if you recall, I mentioned instances where I wanted to get a grant from a community, from my community. I was even finding out how I could get a loan for this particular practice. I thought of even borrowing from people. Now, these are all strategies, at a physical level. But what you need to do is, until you don't align your mind to match your goals at a mindset level, all the physical strategies that you try to implement will never work. Because whatever it is that you do in your life, your mindset has a 95% contribution and only 5% of the results that you get are from the strategies, tools, and systems that you try to use. So remember, I always do this with my hand. When you want to get up here, you have to align yourself. So all you need to do is make that decision. Start taking action towards that decision. Don't sit and wait for miracles to happen. Yes, miracles do happen, but how that happened to me, it did happen, but you have to work on your mindset first. Because if your mindset is not aligned to your goal, there's really going to be a misalignment and you'll never be able to achieve the goal that you want. It's not easy to identify what it is that you really want because your mind plays you by telling you different stories, right? How many of you have heard all these excuses coming to your mind? There are so many opinions and suggestions by everybody around us. So your own inner voice talks to you in the first place. It tells you how you don't have the time, you don't have the money, your circumstances are not right for you to start something. And what I'd like you to know that, this is that part of your mind talking to you that is controlling 96% of your results. Now, you have become such a victim of this part of your mind that you don't even realize that it's talking to you and it's discouraging you. Because the job of this part of your mind is to keep you where you are. And that's the reality. Sometimes this might be a very harsh reality to absorb, but it wants you to stay where you are. It doesn't want you to challenge it. So the minute you try to upgrade yourself, it resets you back to your current level. And that's why a lot of you have been in the same place year in, year out, simply because you've been listening to this inner voice, this voice that discourages you. It gives you all the excuses of why you should not do something, why you should not make changes in your life, why you should not invest in yourself. The second obstacle is opinions and suggestions by those around you. Now, this is one of the biggest obstacles in you trying to achieve your goal. Unfortunately, this is a reality. I do understand that your people are your well-wishers and they may be trying to help you. But what I'd like you to know that your wants and desires come from you. They don't belong to anybody else but you. Nobody will understand what you want and what you desire So don't go asking other people. If you're a person who loves to get opinions, fine, get them. But when it comes to decision making, make your own decisions. Do not make decisions based on other people's suggestions and opinions. What I'd like to remind you is this, that people are used to seeing you in a certain way. They formed a certain self-image about you in their minds. But guess what? You aren't that person. You are made in the perfect image of God. Your desires speak to you in your spirit. So your spirit speaks to you through your desires. And it is your obligation, your duty to listen to your spirit and fulfill those desires. All right? So nobody can tell you what you really want. Only you know what you really want. So nobody should decide what it is that you should do, what you really want. So the obstacles that to what you really want are your current circumstances. You usually allow your current circumstances to dictate what you can do and how far you can go. But the great news is that you hold the power to what it is that you want and where you want to go. So, we all have a habit of succumbing to our current circumstances. But the truth is that you have the power to make that change. Now, again, going back to my story, what did I do? I decided not to listen to anybody. I don't know if I had mentioned this in my story last week, but, when I decided to quit my job, after I got my current practice and I was about 3 to 4 months into it, I still had a corporate job, but I quit that job. I didn't ask anybody. I made a decision in 30 seconds. One day in July of 2022, I just got an inspiration that I need to quit my job because I'm not going to be able to give my current practice that attention that it needs. If I keep trying to juggle between the two, it's never going to work for me. And guess what? I didn't ask anybody. I wrote it down that I'm quitting my job. I informed my supervisor immediately so that I would not change my mind. And I just went for it. And that's how you make a decision. When you know that something feels really right, that's when you know that you should be doing this. This is what's meant for you. Now, again, the big F word will come in, fear. Of course, fear crept in my system, definitely, because, my practice hadn't picked up as fast as I had wanted it to. But I knew that when I overcome that barrier, when I overcome that fear, on the other side, success was awaiting me, So this is where most of you are stuck. This is another very big barrier, another very big obstacle that you're facing. But what I'd like you to know is this, that lack of decision causes fear. It's not your fear that's making you not make a decision. Once you make a decision and just take action, you'll automatically overcome that fear, all right? So all you need to do is make a decision and just take immediate action to commit to yourself. Now, if it's a decision, where you're not able to take some kind of action immediately, then find somebody that you can be accountable to. The minute you communicate it to somebody, you know that you can't go back on your word and your decision stays firm in its place. So this is very, very important, right? Don't let your circumstances dictate you because, as I said, this is a very effortless process. I'm not asking you to disrupt your life, right? It's very simple. Your goals are here and this is where you are. Stop making decisions from your current circumstances. Simply elevate your thoughts, your mindset, align yourself emotionally, mentally, spiritually to wherever it is that you want to go. The minute you do that, everything starts aligning towards you. Remember what I said, your life is your workshop. You can shape it the way you want using the power of your mind. And it's that effortless. When when I made a decision that I want to become a Procter Gallagher consultant, my goal was here and I was here. I simply made a decision and everything happened effortlessly. It's a very easy process, but you have to do the daily mindset work. I'm not saying that you can just sit around and wait. Absolutely not. You have to do your mental, emotional, and spiritual work, all right? So again, when you listen to that inner discouraging voice and you listen to what people around you say to you, you're likely to stay in your comfort zone because, all those opinion suggestions, they start creating fear in you, right? People start asking you, for instance, in my case, if I would have informed other people, my immediate family in that case, that I'm deciding to quit my job to pay more attention to my current practice, what's the first question they would have asked me? They would have asked me, Shalini, are you sure about this? Because how are you going to support yourself? And what would that have done? That would have crept doubt and fear immediately in my system. But because I know what my mentor Bob Proctor teaches, he had trained me really well to make my own decisions. I didn't ask anybody. I immediately made that decision without thinking ahead. All right. So, your comfort zone is very, very soothing, right? If somebody would have asked me that question, I would have straight away said, oh, no, let me think about it. Let me not quit my job because I need the money. And I would have gone back to my comfort zone. But what happened? The minute I decided to leave my comfort zone and quit my job and pay attention to my practice automatically started growing. So this is all about frequencies, It's very simple. It's all about frequencies. When you get on the right frequency, when you make that decision and say that I am going to give more time and energy to this particular thing, that is what keeps expanding, because the universe directly responds to your vibrations. Your frequency puts you in a certain vibration. But because at the moment you're making decisions from your current circumstances, the universe is responding exactly that way from your current frequency and vibration. And that's why you keep getting the same results. So you're in the same loop, year in, year out. You're circling in the same loop, all right? Think about it, for how long have you wanted something different in your life? For how long have you been feeling stuck? For how long have you been putting it off? Don't you question yourself, how others have gone far and yet you're still where you are. Is that what you want in your life? Is that what you want to keep doing? Really ask yourself that question. But guess what? You have the same ability as the other people who are passing by you. That's the great news, that you can do what they are doing. You simply have to work on yourself. It's that easy. It's that simple. All you have to do is make a decision to get to where it is that you want. And you have to start acting as if your goal is already accomplished. So today I'm going to give you a very small exercise that will help you start moving towards your goal, all right? Because that is what I had promised, that I'm going to give you practical action steps to start moving towards your goals. So the first thing that you need to do is write a list of 50 things that you really, really want. It can be anything. It can be a big one or small one, things that you wanted in your life. Sit down in a quiet space, take a sheet of paper and write down a list of 50 things that you wanted, in your life. There's so many things we want. So write down a list of 50. And this list should be very easy to make because we always want things, right? It can be professional. It can be on a personal front, income, anything material, anything to do with relationships, any desires that you've had for a while and you've not been able to have them. After you've made the list of 50, I'd like you to pin down one thing in the professional front and one thing on your personal front that you want from all of these. So pick one, a professional one that you've really wanted for a very long time. What's one thing, in your area of work? You might be working somewhere, you might be running a business, it could be anything. You might be running your own consulting practice, whatever it could be. You might be a doctor for that case. So what is that one thing that you always wanted in the professional front? And then pick one thing in the personal front, something that you really, really want. Out of that list, the two things that you want the most, one professional and one personal. Remember what I said about acting as if. Now, what you need to do is write down this particular statement that you already have this one in the present tense. Now, what happens? Remember what I said. The universe responds to exactly what you give out. So if you think that your goal should be in the future tense, it always stays in the future. Now, most of us know how to set goals based on a future timeline. And that is why our goals never realize in our life, or they take too long, simply because we are always working with a future mindset, with a futuristic mindset. How your goals will really manifest in your life once you make a decision is to believe and act as if they have already been accomplished, meaning in the present tense, all right? It has already happened. So what you can do is you can take an index card like this, which you can get from your local stationery shop or your supermarket, and write your goal down in a certain format. So I'm just going to read out a certain format that I help my clients with, all right? So it goes as follows. So if you are somebody who wants to earn $1 million per month, so whatever currency you may be in, I'm not defining any currency at this point. I'm just going to say the amount, So this is what you write on your card. I am so happy and grateful now that I easily and continuously earn $1 million every month. It is done. I am healthy, wealthy, happy. I'm going to repeat that once again. I am so happy and grateful now that I easily and continuously earn $1 million every month. Sorry, did I say 100,000 before? I'm not sure, because that's what I have written here. So whatever amount it is, I am so happy and grateful now that I easily and continuously earn $1 million every month. It is done. I am healthy, wealthy, happy. All right. So if you recall that statement, it's very clearly presented in the present tense. Now, how does that make you feel, when you write something in the present tense? And this is the strategy my mentor, Bob Proctor, taught me. One day he wrote on his goal card that he wants his company to go global. And I think this was in the 1970s. And in 2021, his company went global. So you see, he stuck to that idea. He accepted that idea. He didn't know the how. He didn't know how it would happen, when it would happen, but it actually did happen. All right. Now, if you want a home, for instance, or a car, you can simply say, I am so happy and grateful now that I own, for instance, if you want a Range Rover Sport, all right. I am so happy and grateful now that I own a Range Rover Sport. It is done. I am healthy, wealthy, happy. Now, just a reminder, you don't have to know about the how. You don't have to be concerned about how it's going to happen. Going back to my story, when I decided that I am going to become a Procter Gallagher consultant, I just accepted the idea. I had no idea how I was going to do it. Remember, I didn't have the money. And eventually, it was granted to me all for free. So the thousands of dollars that it cost, I didn't even have to need that money or have that money. It came to me. I'm not saying that they called me and they said they're giving it to me. No, I did get a series of inspired action points that I took. When you get an inspiration, when you impress this idea into your mind, those are the actions that you need to take in order to move towards this goal. So I'm not saying that that goal is going to happen to you, while you're seated in the corner of your home. Absolutely not. You will get inspired ideas when you start impressing this idea into your mind. Now, how do we impress this idea? Now, once you have your goal, so these are my current goals written on my card, right? Now, day and night, you have to feel as if these goals have already been accomplished. So you can write one personal goal and one professional goal back to back on the same card, all right? Keep looking at your goal card day and night and be in the feeling that it has already been accomplished. How do you feel if you already have that car, that home, that income level, or whatever goal it is? You might have travel goals, you might have family goals, you might have social goals, whatever it may be. How do you feel when you know that it has already happened? You are so happy and grateful. Are you excited? Are you joyful? Are you confident? Are you getting goosebumps? How do you feel? Get into that feeling, all right, that it has already been accomplished. So this is only the first step in moving towards your goal, all right? Now, this brings to my two very special announcements today, ladies and gentlemen. So first, I'd just like to give you a heads up that today I'll be having one of my clients called Linda, who will be speaking about her experience around the concept of decision-making. So Linda joined me I think about 2 weeks ago on one of my programs called The Creator, and she'll be talking about her experience around decision-making. But before I ask her to come online, I'd like you to know that as part of your goal achievement process, a winning morning routine is key in order to realize your goals. So I'm very excited today because in the beginning, I mentioned that I made a very good decision today to add value to my clients. And I also made a decision to give out my morning routine that helped me realize my goal of becoming a Procter Gallagher consultant that cost thousands of dollars. So this is the exact routine that helped me become a Procter Gallagher consultant without having the money. Now, remember what I said, that it costs thousands of dollars, right? So if you can just give me a moment, I'm just going to share some details around what that morning routine entails. Just a minute. Yeah. So here's my screen, and this is a routine that completely made me win over my circumstances. Now, what I'd like you to know, ladies and gentlemen, today is that a morning routine is very, very crucial. You know, how you start your day sets the tone for your day. How you live your life on a daily basis will determine how your weeks shape up, how your months and your years shape up, and how your life eventually shapes up, right? So your winning morning routine is a guaranteed way to achieve your goals, all right? It sets the tone of how you are going to live the rest of your day and the rest of your life. It sets you on a path to discipline and success and consistency. And, you know, these are the key ingredients for you to achieve your goal. You know, you have to be consistent. You have to be very disciplined in order to achieve your goal, right? So I have set out specific steps that I personally followed, you know, in between the time when I made a decision that I'm becoming a Procter Gallagher consultant. So this is a routine that was set out to me by my mentor that helped me achieve my goal without having the money. I'd like to reiterate that. So my consulting practice cost $30,000. And this is the exact routine, you know, that I am going to give out to all of you that's going to help you achieve your goals in return, all right? So this is the exact steps that I have laid out that helped me achieve my practice that cost $30,000 without having the money. So what it has the exact action points. You know, what did I do when I woke up, you know? So it starts early in the morning. I've actually put out the exact times as well, all right? And I've put out the exact study material that I used on a daily basis that helped me attract my practice effortlessly without having the money. Now, remember what I said. It all starts with the decision. So you get access to this routine for only $200. And for those who registered on my Zoom call, I'm going to send this link out to all of you. For those who are on Facebook, YouTube, I'll put out the link after this session. So you get access to this routine for only 20,000 shillings or $200. The original value is at $350, and this is valid. The offer rate is valid till mid-August, 15th of August. So what you can do is, with a one-time investment, you can apply this lifelong for your different goals to start moving closer to your goals, all right? The trick here is in implementing the exact steps that I've given you. I've given you the exact statements that I used in order to achieve my goals. I've shared the way I wrote down my goal. I've shared the gratitude list that I used in order to attract my practice. I also have a specific technique that helps you rewire your paradigm so that you can start moving closer to your goal, all right? If you want to get your hand on this particular morning routine, it's definitely a winner's formula. Please feel free to get in touch with me. These are my contacts. That's my website. You can also get in touch with me directly on WhatsApp. I'm on both Facebook and YouTube also. My page on Facebook is called Thinking into Results with Shalini Gadia. My YouTube handle has the same name, and I'm also present on Instagram as Shalini_GD. So for those of you who want to get hold of this particular morning routine, go to my website, go under the programs tab, or get in touch with me directly. Let's have a chat. Remember, it all starts with a decision, all right? Your life depends on the kind of decisions you can make and how you make decisions. Remember what I mentioned in the beginning. You're not taught how to make decisions. Your parents never let you make any decisions. Everything was done for you, right? So this is the time to get hold of your life, to be in charge of your life and make a decision and go for what it is that you want. So make a decision, get hold of my morning routine and start moving towards your goals, all right? So now I'd like to call Linda. Linda, if you can unmute yourself and put your, just going to, hi Linda, thank you for coming.
Yeah, you're welcome. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
All right. Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much, Shalini.
Yes.
For having me.
Absolutely. I mean, I'm so happy that you could make it on a Friday. You know, yeah, that's always number one. And yeah, I think I'll start by asking you to. So first, you can introduce yourself. You know, you're Linda and what you do, and what made you come on the creator? How did you get connected to me? What made you feel like you wanted to enroll into the creator? And then tell us about your experience on the creator so far, and especially around decision making, because I remember during one of our coaching calls, you were very specific. I remember that line that you said, and I mentioned it earlier during my session, where you said that life can be so simple, we just don't know how to make decisions. That really caught my attention. So yeah, over to you.
Oh yeah, so thank you, Shalini, again. I am Linda Kezengwa, and I consider myself a marketing professional. So marketing is something I'm very passionate about, and I've been doing it for close to 16 years now, so quite a long time. And wow, so joining the creator first begins with, I know Shalini. We were in campus together, and the Shalini that I'm currently seeing is not the same person I used to see in campus. Yeah, so it took a little bit of my attention, of course, to see what you've been doing. And I was able to go through your page, your YouTube channel, and I was able to see some of the things you have talked about. Then, of course, I had attempted to sign up for your Zoom meetings, just like this one, but I didn't manage to attend any one of them. So the time that I managed to attend, you were talking about, what were you talking about again? Yeah, you were talking about, I think, something to do with goals, if I'm not wrong. And right after that, I thought, wow, you are talking about things that are relevant, things that we do on a day-to-day basis. And then I thought, based on what I have seen and what I have heard, you actually got in touch with me. And then after we spoke, I was like, yeah, I have been meaning to make changes around my life. And I've been having excuses and being busy. And I haven't really managed to get a hold of anything. Not anything per se, but I haven't gotten to the deepest desires of my heart. So that is when I decided to join the creator. So even joining the creator, deciding to join the creator itself was a decision. And what I can say my experience is that we always know what we need to do. I knew I needed to get to the creator, but I was looking for reasons and looking around my situation for limitations or looking at my circumstances as to why I should not take on the creator. So after taking the creator, in the first week, my level of awareness just shifted to a different level. Beginning with the first week, I would say I learned about beliefs and why the belief systems, after they've been ingrained in you for a long time, are some of the barriers to your progress. So we have this belief that we need to be in a safe space. I know you have shared about safety. We need to be careful. We need to work with what we know. And therefore, taking up a risk or taking up a decision of something you're not used to becomes very hard. So for me, my level of awareness has gone up in terms of goal setting to start with. I have now understood the different types of goals, and I've understood the goals that I used to make. But at the moment, I am making a lot of progress in the sense that I am no longer looking at the goals I used to have as something to worry me rather than something to work on. And now I am setting high-level goals that I look at and I'm like, wow, So the moment I'm able to fulfill those goals, I will know that I have done something different other than what I've been doing over the years. So goals are good. You might have goals. You could be working on them. But the moment you join consultancy with Shalini, it takes you to a different level and to another level. So the first level of awareness was goal setting. Then there's also the belief systems as to why you're not able to set those goals. And second, and another thing I learned about goal setting as well is you always know what you want. By the time I had written my list of many, many goals and desires, and I came to choose the last moment, like I have to have one professional and one personal, I realized this is a desire I have been having for a long, long time. So the process helps you to bring out something that was already in you, but you have been lagging around it. And then the other part of awareness was now decision making. And I have really improved with the way I make my decisions. I just realized that on a day-to-day basis, as we live, as we make those small decisions and big decisions, it equates to our peace or to our anxiety, stroke fear, stroke, all those worries. So decision making is very important. Shalini was able to give me material to read regarding decision making. And these days I just make a decision on a snap. I'm like, I can't waste time thinking about it. I can't take any more time, because it becomes an errand, and that is what leads to our busyness. So being able to make quick decisions with whatever information you have and within the earliest time possible gives you peace and enables you to move on to the next level, Then I've also learned a lot from the material that you have shared, giving guidance on a week-to-week basis, which enables you now to work on those goals on a daily basis. And the most important thing I would say I've learned from the process is that never become a victim of your circumstance. We are always saying I cannot do this because of that. I'm not able to take on this consultancy because my days are always busy. But what you don't realize is that if you do not prioritize yourself, you will always have a gap inside. So as much as we have work to do, we have parenting to do, we have other responsibilities and businesses to work on, this experience helps you to think about yourself, helps you to mind about yourself, to do what has been deep down in your heart. And from there, you're able to serve others better and become more fulfilled. Yeah, so basically that has been my experience, very enlightening. And I'm very grateful as I continue with this journey. Thank you, Shalini. And also just to mention that as much as I know Shalini, she has been very professional. I don't know how she manages to be professional with me, but at the same time, I feel that friendliness, There's some instances you meet friends who have now become professionals, and they just put on that professional front. So for me, I think it's a double gain that I still get to feel that friendship, but I still see your professionalism 100%. So thank you.
Thank you, Linda. I think that was wonderful. I think you dropped so many nuggets. So first of all, I'd like everyone to know that Linda made an immediate decision. When I got on a call with her, I had no intention. I had not gone with that thought that she'll actually come on board. And, we just had a conversation. And you know what she told me? She said, I'm paying you now. And I was like, oh my God, here we have a decision maker. And I think, Linda, I've always said to you that you are going to go very, very far because of how you're receiving this material. And I think everybody has heard for themselves how you receive this material. So, I love how you said that, yeah, we've been operating as being victim of our circumstances. That's absolutely true. And, how you said that, you just make a decision in a snap. And that's exactly how you're supposed to be making decisions, And if we don't do that, we'll never be able to move towards our goals. And I love how you mentioned also that, now you learned about how to set big goals, not just goals that you know how to achieve, and now you're not worried about goals, but you're working towards them and you're excited about them. So I think those have been very, very good highlights. And how you said that your want is already within you, but there's a gap because you don't know how to bring it to the surface, right? And Linda, just to mention, it's been a pleasure working with you, and I'm so humbled that you chose me to take you through this journey. And yes, I'm always here. Of course, you know that. And of course, friends and professionally. So I think exactly for me also, that's been amazing. So thank you. Thank you so much for coming on. I really appreciate it.
You're welcome.
All right. Thank you again, Linda, for that. And I'm sure everyone here is excited to, hear what Linda had to say. Very, very deep insights, very practical examples of what she's learned, through the creator. So as I mentioned earlier, for those of you who you want to, learn how to achieve your goals, remember, it's just a decision. You just have to decide, that, yes, I am going to do this for myself. I am going to overcome my circumstances. I am going to go for what it is that I want. All it takes is to make a decision. If you do what Linda did, that's going to take you places. And, if you recall, she also mentioned that I'm not the person that I used to be. So that's another example of how this material has worked for me. I can see her nodding. So absolutely. For those who know me, you can see that it's a clear application of how this material can have wonders on you, right? So do get in touch with me, and I will be very humble if you decide to choose me to take you through this journey. Thank you for watching, everybody. Have a lovely rest of your day.